Hey guys, today I'm going to show you a very pretty blue marble look using different rhinestone designs. The first step we're going to do is apply a base coat. I've already prepped my nails, I've already buffed and filed them. So now I'm just going to go ahead and apply a base coat. If you watched my video last week with the pink and black nails, I skipped through a lot of the details. It was more of a concept design, so I didn't really go through all the basic steps of, prep and, using the base coat, different things like that. So I think in this video today, I will slow it down and show you guys a little more detail with the different products I use and the different steps that it took to achieve this look. And so once you apply the base coat, you're just going to go ahead and cure it. Next, we're going to use this really pretty blue. It kind of reminds me of a Cinderella blue. It's called low blue, but I'm not sure if that's like an accurate name for it. But it really reminds me of like a Cinderella blue, and it has a nice opaque color to it. So anyways, we're just going to apply some of that polygel into the Stiletto dual form using your brush, patting it down gently, and of course always applying slip solution to your brush so the polygel doesn't stick. So once you go ahead and you finish putting the polygel in the form, you just stick it onto your nail, press gently, making sure that you get all your sides, and then you're going to go ahead and cure it. I always like to cure the underside of the form because sometimes I feel like the polygel is still a little wet on the underside, so I go ahead and cure that twice. So here is the fun part of this nail design with the marble nail. We're using 3 different colors here. It's that Cinderella blue, a really pretty, it's called rainbow blue, and it's just like a really bright blue, and I love it. And then we're going to mix that with some white. So how you achieve this marble look is you take the toothpick and you just do 2 to 3 swirls with the 3 colors. You don't want to over mix this, otherwise you're just going to end up blending all 3 colors together and forming a different color. So once you put 2 or 3 swirls into the color mix, you use the spatula, dip it in some slip solution so it doesn't stick, and then you use one side of it to pick up some of the polygel to apply it into the form, and then you want to gently pat down. Be sure you don't, you're not really heavy-handed with it, because if you do, you'll smudge out all the different swirl designs in the form. So once you're done filling the form, just go ahead and apply that to your finger. As usual, make sure you press down firmly, getting all of your sides. And then once you do that, you just go ahead and cure it in the UV LED lamp for 60 seconds. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the index finger since I already have all 3 colors out. I'm going to skip the middle finger for now and go back to that. We're using the same exact process here. Put a little dab of all 3 colors. Do 2 to 3 swirls using the toothpick, and then using the spatula, you're just going to pick up some of that polygel, place it into the form, and like I said, being careful not to smudge the colors together too much so that you don't get rid of that marble design in the nail form. And then you just go ahead and use your brush again, dipped in some slip solution to carefully pat out the polygel into the form. And I think the really neat thing about this is that you get a different design each time. I really like that about the marble nails, is that and every time you do it with each nail, It's something different. I think it's really cool. Sometimes you'll get a really cool marble effect. Sometimes it might look, especially if you're using blue and white, it might look more like clouds. It's just always something different, and I really like that. So now, once we cure that nail, we're going to move on back to the middle finger since I skipped that. And the middle finger for this design is just going to be that really, really pretty rainbow blue. And just using the same process as before, just applying some of the polygel into the form, and then, patting that down with your brush, making sure that you fill the form, and then going ahead and placing that form on your nail, pressing it down gently to make sure that you get all of your sides, and then just curing that in the lamp. The thing about using forms is that you always want to size up so that you get the sides of your nails, because if you pick a form that's too small, it won't cover the sides. So next we're going to move on to the thumb. This one I'm using that Cinderella blue. And once again, just the same process, applying the polygel into the form, using your brush with some slip solution to gently pat the polygel into the form. And then once you've done that, just go ahead and apply that to your nail, pressing gently, but not too hard, because you don't want the polygel to come out of the sides. Now, sometimes this does happen. I've had it happen several times when I'm just rushing through and I'm not being careful enough. The polygel will come out of the sides of the form, but once you cure it and you pop off the form, you're able to file down all of the imperfections, so it's all right. So now we're just moving on to popping off all of the forms. Once we finish curing that thumb, sometimes this can be tricky. You have to just keep wiggling the form back and forth until you get that air bubble. This ring finger really that form did not want to let go. So it took me a minute, as you can see, to wiggle that form off, but it did. What happened was the polygel, like I was talking about before, on this nail, it actually did come out on the sides, which is why the form was sticking to it. So once I finished popping off the forms, while I was filing it like I am now, I had to spend some extra time really filing down that ring finger, because the extra gel that spilled out of the form after it cured, it created a lot of ridges on the side. So I just really had to spend a lot of time making sure I filed that down. So once finished filing the nails, we're going to go through, wipe off all the nail dust. All I have here is some alcohol on a paper towel, and I was just wiping off all the nail dust to make sure we have a clean nail. So once we finished wiping off all the nail dust, I applied some top coat to apply the rhinestones. Now, there are different rhinestone glues that you can use. In this case, I just decided to take the easy route and apply top coat. They do stick with the top coat. If you're applying bigger rhinestones, you might want to consider using some of the thicker gels. But when you're using some of the smaller rhinestones, just a little extra top coat goes a long way, and it really does. They really do stick with just some top coat. So as you can see, I'm just going through and placing the rhinestones how I want them. As you can see here, I'm struggling a little bit picking up the rhinestones with the tweezers. Usually I have my wax pen and I could not find it. So instead I improvised, and I thought I can use my tweezers to pick up the rhinestones. But as you can see, it was definitely a struggle, but I got it. So after each nail, once you place the rhinestones on the top coat and you have them in the spot that you want, you're just going to cure it. Once you cure it, like I said, the top coat is really good and it will hold the rhinestones. So now I'm just moving on to my middle finger here. As you'll see, I placed the bigger rhinestone in the center, and then I'm going to put smaller rhinestones around it. And same situation, I was struggling here using those tweezers because I couldn't find my wax pen, but I made it work, and in the end you'll see that it all came out really nice. So I think the tweezers were good improv. I think on the ring finger or the pinky finger, I just ended up picking up some of the rhinestones because I got really frustrated with the tweezers because the rhinestones just kept popping out of them. So once again, repeating the same process here, just, after each nail, applying the top coat and then applying the rhinestones in the order that I wanted them. So I did the index and the ring finger the same. I just put smaller rhinestones along the cuticle area. I really wanted the middle finger to stick out since it was just a solid color, and that's another reason why I just did the smaller rhinestones along the ring finger and the index, is since they were marbled, I kind of wanted that to stand out, so it was more of like accent rhinestones to kind of put on them, but that's why I decided to put the bigger rhinestone on the middle finger. And then for the pinky finger, I did the same thing as the thumb, and I just went ahead and placed a medium-sized rhinestone by itself. The thumb and the pinky finger were really simple. I really liked that blue, and I didn't think it needed, I thought a plain design would look really nice on it. And as you see, that's basically what I went for. So once I applied that top coat, I was trying to get that gem to stick on there, and it kept wiggling around, but I finally got it, and then I cured it in place so that it wouldn't come undone. And here you have it, you guys. This is the final product. This is how the nails turned out. I realized on my thumb that I put the rhinestone on my right hand a little higher than the one on my left hand, but that's okay. I think the nails ended up turning out great, and I hope you guys really liked it and subscribe to my channel.